So I have these words to live by every year. And this year has been perspective over perception. So what I mean by that is, if you have to look at yourself and center yourself, perception has a lot to do with ego, and perspective has a lot to do with the bigger picture. So I'm at a point in my life where I have to look at the bigger picture than perception. That's perception. That's ego. But like people I care about, family, shit like that, that's perspective. It's the bigger picture, you know? Because perception is literally how I want people to see me, and, you know, my pride, my ego, and all that stuff, you know? So I would like to say that whenever you get to a point in your life where you have to choose between perception and perspective, just know that there's one thing that has to do with the bigger picture, you know, and one has to do with yourself and how people look at yourself. And usually, when that has to do with that, it's actually you projecting. It has nothing to do with people either, because nobody thinks about you.
From CnrJuta&DeBeer, imini nomsindisi wesizwe, umvelisi Ummelisi wesizwe, formerly known as Lazi Mathebula, bringing you a show about creative entrepreneurs live from the landmark that not only birth SA street culture, but also formalize the street hustle. CnrJuta&DeBeer, special edition, umsindisi wesizwe, umvelisi FKA, Lazi Mathebula, with the one, the only, Lazi Mathebula, Gray Spaces, Bombisa, Baba Raquel, a creator, visionary, multi-hyphenate, the executor, the pilot program. Because I've seen a lot of moves happen after you made a couple of moves. And the question is always, so who are you? Introduce yourself. But for me, more than anyone, a mentor of mine, someone who taught me a lot about the game. And a lot of the lessons that you told me would happen, happened. A lot of the stuff you said would happen, happened. And I'm proud to announce that it happened. But more than anything, I think...
Did you take it at the time? Like, we were fussy, let's be honest.
The thing is, information without execution is useless.
Yeah.
So it's like, but if I never start the car...
It's pointless.
It's pointless. So for me, when I reflect back on the journey and everything I've learned from you, the most important thing that you said, that I still carry to this day, don't be that guy that knows too much and does too little.
Ish.
What inspired that?
It was circumstantial. You know, for me, it was like, what's the point of knowing if you're not doing? You know, it's like sometimes you gotta do it. You know, knowing, it's like I've seen cats growing up, you know, in the hood. You have like so much information about things, and then you don't do, and then the guy with less information does, and then you start to hate on them. Do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, but I've read about a Beamer 325 for like 16 years, and then I pull up in a Beamer 325 and you start to analyze it, but from a hater's perspective. So that's the stuff that, even though it's like, because for us, the hood is the scripture, you know, of this whole thing, because that's where we come from, you know. And yeah, so everything else, when you come to these city lights, you start to now contextualize it based on that experience. And for me, it's always been like that. It's like, I've seen those things happen, you know, so I'd rather also jinxing things. When you talk too much about it, probably not gonna happen. But when you do it and then talk about it later, it's even like better, you know?
You weld, you draw, you sculpt, you paint, you carpent, you build. There's a lot of things. You design. What allowed your art form to move beyond the medium? Because a lot of us, we have this thing, I'm shy, but with you, like, we're shy.
Again, man, it's like, you know, not having, my stepdad used to be this guy. He built the house that we lived in. He made the furniture in the house, you know, and it was all circumstantial. So you didn't have the money to buy, you rather build, you know, because building is cheaper than buying at some point. And also it's like it's in control of what you want. And I think I took that sentiment into my creative journey where, if I'm curious, like yesterday I had a chat with someone about the bricks that I've been making. When I made it the first time, I was out of curiosity and like on some art shit. And then I'm like, actually, I know, but I can take it further. But taking it further means I can make a mold, you know, of bricks for these bricks. And then I make the mold. I'm like, oh, now it's production. I stop right there because I'm not a brick manufacture.
Brick farmer.
Do you know what I mean? So you take it further and further based on the information that you have, the data that you've collected about how things are made. So it's all that, It's just that, like, sometimes in SA, it's people like us, I don't know how, but I wish that we make it, man. You know what I mean? Like, for real. Because, people that get through are not, they deserve it, but, like...
They don't have the 16 years of the Beamer.
You know what I'm trying to say? It's like we also deserve some kind of sun, light, because it is from a purist, like Virgil would say, like purist and tourist. A lot of purists don't really get it, but tourists do, You tour the space, because you have other elements that allow you to sell yourself in a way, but purists don't really sell themselves too much. So I fall more into the purist side of it more than the tourist. And that is working a lot of times to my detriment,
Speaking of being a purist, you move from styles very fast. And some people would say that you found this flow, do the Blue show, do the New York show with the same flow and just carry it through. What has led to you always, now we gotta switch it up?
Because it's like cooking, dog, You can't eat the same thing, right? And like, if you've like ingredients, sometimes you feel like, okay, I'm gonna make chicken and this and this and that, Or I'm gonna make beef and this and this and that. You can't make the same meal all the time. And it's like, if you have like the ingredients, the know-how, the arsenal, I have like a creative arsenal. But if you look at the stuff that I do, it always almost comes together, all of it, It's like time and like I'm making lamps, When we were at the studio, we used to play around a lot. Like, we'd want to make incense, we'd make things. But like now I can print my own fabric. I can print my own paper. I can form it into different forms. I can make a lamp. I can make, So it's like a process of still being an artist. Like I can sketch on my iPad, process that and take it to get exposed, put it on the screen and print it. And then from printing it, fold it and make it into a product. It's all full circle. Because if the journey, some people can, like hire other people to do things for them. But I like to control everything that I do. So maybe that's where the curse comes in. But it's still like, I can't stick to one thing because it's all conversation. It's like making music, You have to have a worldly outlook or experience, Input for your output to be solid. It's like, it's like when, it's crazy because talking to you is like when we had the sneaker show,
Yeah.
You were very ambitious about the stuff that you could talk about things you didn't have like you had them. Do you know what I'm saying? That's dreaming, and it's like now you're probably over that shit.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? But like you had to know it, to talk about it and feel it, and no one is gonna judge that you don't have it. Therefore, don't talk about it. So I don't know. It might not be similar, but in a way, you just gotta like allow inspiration to come in. It's like also like everything you love, at some point you're gonna try to do. So if I love music so much, at some point I'm gonna try to do it. If I love furniture, I'm talking about you too. You know what I'm saying? Like all the things that you loved, at some point you did try to do. The sneakers, the furniture, the podcast, the fashion stuff. You know what I mean? Like all the stuff that, and now with your platform, you are actually putting it together. See what I'm trying to say? Yeah. Even though you're putting it together using different people that you might have collaborated, worked with, or looked at and enjoyed what they do, but those are things that you also like. Therefore, it actually makes the conversation even better because it comes from a person that likes the stuff. You have a shoe that you've made, you have a piece of furniture that you've made, you have like a t-shirt that you've made, you have like a catalog, you have like an editorial piece that you've shot. You know what I'm trying to say? Like,
yeah, it's a build-up.
You've done all these things that you're talking about. But you're having a conversation. Obviously, it might seem very, like you said, contextual, but at the same time, it is built on your experiences, and your experiences are like this holistic. Imagine if you're disc in your pen. How are you going to talk to me if your center of it is only,
disc.
Young Todd? Or, I'm just saying.
I think for me, speaking of the past, it's like I remember the first day I was at the studio, you have the Yeezy 500s filled with like the clay for the mold. And I'm like, these just dropped like 2 months ago. In my head, I'm this kid at varsity. I'm like, this is madness. But then over time, once you start having access to these things, you start realizing these things just inform the next step. Yeah. They're not the actual goal. It's like, oh, bengifuna leopards, but in fact, leopards was supposed for me to make molds. Yeah. And then those molds led to a gallery show and. Yeah. How have you allowed yourself to allow your ideas to morph? Because for every third person in the world, it's like if I come up with this beautiful concept of beautiful boys and the t-shirts sell out every time, I'm done. Yeah. How have you allowed yourself to go from, okay, cool, it's this rollout, it's this amazing t-shirt, it's this logo that's speaking, and then we're going to graduate this into a shop, we're going to graduate this into product?
In simple, I don't know how to answer questions like they are put out to me. I go all over the place. But in simple terms is that I'm not too sentimental about ideas. I don't hold on to, I have so many of them. I have to release them. And it's like, yeah, sometimes with beautiful boys, I was right. It felt like I was right once, and it felt like I couldn't do anything better than that. And I was like, no, there's no way, because I can't be just right once. Even though they do say, like, you got to be right once. I'm like, no, I can be right a couple of times. Different magnitudes of success with the ideas. Like, Beautiful Things has a different level of success compared to Beautiful Boys. Beautiful Boys' success was a great one that was not going to last where it was going. But a Beautiful Things success is the one that has longevity. We launched the shop. We sold out on Beautiful Things before we sold out on Beautiful Boys, and we had just launched the shop, and Beautiful Boys was like our most selling product, as you know. Yeah. So imagine if I had starved myself or denied myself to express another idea. Do you know what I'm trying to say? It's like, I have this idea, I'm like, nah, but it's going to create conflict with what I have going already. It doesn't matter to me, If it's a good idea. And I was saying to my wife, like, sometimes it's like I have bad ideas, man, and I have good ideas. And sometimes my good ideas, they don't land, and my bad ideas do. And we were having this conversation, like, yesterday. I was like, I'm dropping this T-shirt called the artist T-shirt. She didn't like it. And it's like literally defect tees, and I was just like spray them and paint them and just work on them and then just put a print T-shirt artist on them. And she's like, I don't know about this. I'm like, you see, that's the thing. I also don't know about it. And then it sold. Like, we had 5 of them, but it sold out.
Sure.
And I'll drop the most incredible tee, and then it stays.
With the most incredible packaging.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, yeah. But why is it here? It is. I have. You know, compared to like how something that so all ideas, somehow there's a miss, there's a hit, there's a miss, but it's not about what you think. Also, we're dealing with algorithms. So obviously there's that as well. And I know I'm deviating from your question, but what I'm saying is that I'm not too sentimental about ideas. I don't think a good idea will land as good. I don't think a bad idea will end as bad. I just feel like it's based on the timing, right? So I have to always release, always. Like even the thing you think, this might not hit, you're lying. The thing that you think will hit might not hit. And then you have to now oversell it.
Sure.
You know, it's like a good idea puts itself together. And I don't like ideas that don't put themselves together.
How does an idea put itself together? This is just POV from someone just listening. Yo, I mess with Lazi, I mess with Bombisa, but how does a good idea put itself together?
Okay, so beautiful things, you know? We sitting there, okay, what can we do? We have a new shop coming, what are we selling? Just beautiful things. Oh, damn, beautiful thing, that sounds like a good name for a shop. Yeah, why not? Do boom, and then we launch the shop, and then we drop the teas. But what can we have? We have like candles, they're beautiful things. So everything around it is like literally moving towards the space being a beautiful space, selling beautiful things, niggas rocking beautiful sneakers. Like everything is about that. So a good idea always kind of like puts itself together. So we had Pentone Sundays with Mama Rashaga, and we had this idea of a deli. And the way we were setting it up, it just literally put itself together. Because I'm like, okay, we're going to have a deli. We have this table that looks like a daily table, like a kitchen table. We have like packaging is going to be wrapped up, like daily
meals,
sandwiches.
yeah.
We have like order here, collect here. We have a menu, you know, like, you know what I'm trying to say? It's like all these things are putting themselves together, but the menu is a menu of T-shirts and designs from previous, like a top, like a pizza, putting together a pizza, you know?
Shout out to pizza from the other day.
You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. But it's like topping is a blank T-shirt. That's the topping. I mean, that's a base, sorry. The base is like a plain T-shirt. Sure. Topping is like a design, a front and a back.
The tomato is the design.
Yeah, maybe the tomatoes could be the color of the tea, maybe, you know? And then, you know, you have like the meat is the design because that's what sells. But then the flavors, like I'm on spice, and the colors come in there, and the label. So that's an idea that literally put itself together. If you're saying we're going to do a Beautiful Things deli, where we're selling T-shirts like we're selling sandwiches, how would you do that? You know, so you have to break it down based on that and compare your product and your product and your fictional, and the metaverse. Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say? You get what I'm trying to say? You get it. So that's it. So a good idea, man, puts itself together. You know? And I don't fuck with shit that are difficult to maneuver. You know?
You have all these talents, all these gifts, all these ideas. How do you practice creative restraint? Because that's a new thing that I learned. It's like, yo, when I drop a podcast every day, because I want to be inspired every day. But there's also the restraint to say, like you were saying, it's the algorithm. It's about timings. How did you learn how to create your own timings? Because sometimes you're like, yo, this brand just dropped, we need a drop. This guy just dropped, we need a drop.
I'm sorry, I don't have creative restrict. What is it?
Restraint.
Restraint, I don't have that. Because I'm on my own time, you know? And I want to, you know, like, I'm not too strategic when it comes to product, because there's people that are like on a binge, on like an Instagram binge, then there's people on a detox. The person that's trying to buy your t-shirt is on a detox today. The nigga that's not buying shit is on a binge. You get what I'm trying to say? And then you like, oh shit, you don't know that. Then you go post at a diet at a time where Lazi is on a detox. And Lazi is on a binge, and Lazi is going to like it, but he's not going to buy it. So if I keep going and I do whatever I feel like doing, I might catch Lazi right after the detox. And that's a sale. You know, so what I'm saying is like you have people crowding your space, you know, ideas, man. And what I like is that I have resources, which I like about my studio, you know. It's like where we go to play. I go there to play. I don't go to my studio to strategize. I go there to play and release. And the social media is like a window to what's going on in my life. And if you like what's going on, you have access to buy it. Sure. And it's like, I don't look at it like, I don't overthink it. Also because of what stuff that I do. I've overthought it, man, so many times, and like it hasn't become what I wanted it to be. You know, we had shows, we had gallery, and partnerships. We've done things, and those things haven't really been. They've been successful, but they haven't been a success that could measure like tomorrow as well, or like the next coming 4 or 5 years. You know, it's more like now. But what I know can measure those times, or like the future, is me being responsible with my creativity and like being able to give to the world what I was gifted, you know, by my ancestors and the gods, you know. So, man, as I feel it, you know, like how, you know, as I feel it, you know.
You're feeling it out, but you're consistent with it.
Yeah.
You keep creating with it.
Yeah.
How do you separate the gallery work, right? Because you'll do this amazing sculpture and then come back, or an artwork, and then reinterpret it as a t-shirt. You could mark it up and do the gallery thing that Keith Haring vibe, where it's like it's collectible art, but you've still managed to keep your base price relatively affordable. What was the decision behind that? Because,
you know, I learned that whenever I had shows or do anything, the people that support me are not the people that can afford the stuff that I sell at the galleries. And I do love the people that buy my work from galleries or like fairs or whatever, but abantu abangisupportayo esikhathini esiningi amajensi ukuthi like it's people that can afford, but they can afford to buy a t-shirt, you know? And that's when I realized that if I can pull, let's say we pull 200 people to a show, And 90% of those people, they came just because they like what I do. And maybe when they do get the money, they'll be able to support. You know? So I'm like, okay, what can I give to those people so that I can get, from that 90%, I can get 50%, 40% back into them as well, you know? So like we had, amongst friends was like charcoal drawings that selling for relatively cheap. And they would sell out all the time, but they would get mad, response. And at the same time, I'm like, yeah, but this is great. This is closer now because I'm able to do this on my own and control it, but it's less. It's not like, I would like to do it for the price that I sell shit at, at the gallery for and still get the same response, but that's not the reality, you know? And then when I tear it down, it's like, okay, if I can sell a piece for like 5K and sell out quick, and then I can, 10% of that, 5K, 10% of that is like 500, so 550 is a T-shirt, you know? So 10% of 50,000 piece is, you know what I mean? So it's like graded down in 10%. And then even get to a point where you can sell something for $50. We used to sell stickers in the shop. So it's like, then you can cater to like, in your 100%, like a 10% or like 5% is the 50,000, 100K people. And then you tell, tear it down to being able to even sell something as little as a coaster or whatever, but still with your artistic integrity in it, So that's what kind of differentiates me. And also understanding that the gallery stuff is great and maybe it does sell when it does, but it's like you have 4 fairs in a year, 20 people on a roster, Then you can have like a solo or 2 solo shows or group shows and it's still like a couple of, it's like there's no guarantee there. It's not a business that you're in control of because with art, it's like you're talking to a wall when you make art, especially if you don't have your own kind of clientele. Sure. People buy your stuff, you don't know those people. So you just put it on, put it in there, the galleries take it and they make the transition and you come back and they tell you if you sold or not. So they're in control of that, which is, their business. But I'm not in control of that. But I'm in control of T-shirts. I'm in control of like some other small things that I could make, So that's why I think, we don't want to be struggling artists now, do we? Mm-hmm. So that's what kind of makes me. And I know sometimes some people are like, yeah, but it's career suicide to
be accessible.
Yeah, but I'm like, but what am I doing this thing for? I don't want to be like, oh, set up Lazi, then it becomes. You know what I mean? I don't want that. I want to be like, if you like my shit, you have a T-shirt to prove, If you like my shit, you have a zine to prove, You know what I'm trying to say? Like, I just want that access to people because at the end of the day, this thing, dog, is not really, for me, it's not about, this is real shit, I go to, Pitori, just doing whatever, and I bump into someone I don't know, and they know me, oh man, I love your shit, or I send T-shirts to Velcom, I send, you understand, it's like, it's not a joke. Someone in Velcom decided, because I can't, and they, you get me? Like, it's, yeah, man, for me, it's the culture, it's to the people,
Speaking of people, I think the memory that popped up when you were speaking about accessibility is that I remember, second week of opening the shop, there's a guy, he's now my friend, Juice. He comes in, he's like, yo, I want this tea. The tea was $5.50, if I'm not wrong. Mm-hmm. And then for the tea, you said, oh, he had like 400.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, the full price is $5.50. That's what we're selling it at. And you were like, nah. Put that 400, it's fine. You'll pay the difference when you come collect. We'll put it aside for this time period. What's happening in your head where you like cheeky? Because for a lot of people, it's like you're paying the price or you're not getting it.
Yeah, because money is energy, And money is energy. Imagine where that money comes from. Someone to actually come. Maybe I look at it as a small purse, like small whatever shop or whatever, because we don't have those facilities like Supreme and Stussy or whatever, or Nike. We have like people literally know you, nigga. Like don't get it twisted. They know who you are. They come here because of you, and if you're gonna like. And I know, maybe it's like this, you gotta set a tone so niggas respect you, but respect is like, it's earned in a different way, So for me, it's more like, you love my shit, and I'm still in awe, because not everybody sells. what they make. But someone decides they like your shit and they only got $400. You're like, yo, dog, we'll figure it out. Because also when we make these things, we don't make them at a price, everybody knows business is business, but it's like we don't, we're trying to make money and it's not that much of a loss. That's what I'm trying to say. Like $400 for $550, it's not that much of a loss. We can also find another way to do it. Maybe there's a defect, maybe there's something that we can still be able to cater to people. But it's like, I can't lose, man, because, yes, I know. Remember, we used to even have a policy that we don't buy our own shit on drop day because we want people to have it. We have access to it. We can make that stuff after this whole thing. But if the stuff is already in the shop, counted in, we can't be excited to buy the new drop. We have to wait for everybody to get satisfied. We can, how we be out there, making the stuff, So for me, man, it was that. It's like you can't, the energy, man. It's the money's energy,
What informs the business IQ? Because for me, is that we started small scale. I'm helping at the pop-up, helping in studio. You help at the shop. And then you go back to the studio now. Speaking of, we print the T-shirt, sell it in the morning, 12 midday, it's sold out. We have a new problem. We need another batch. Now you have to leave whatever you're doing for that batch. What informs the business in a financial scope? Because we go into business with passion, right? And then midway, CIPC tries to freeze your account, SARS tries to do something that slows down the small black business,
True.
What informed your business and how you actually maneuver it to this day?
Dog, I think I'm an artist first, and also because of the other stuff that I do that kind of gives the privilege to, I looked at it like we have to do it. And if we have to do it, what are we doing as product? And what product does, it sells. So therefore, it does look like it's a business, but it might not be so much of a business because it's more like we're doing these things and we're selling them. Yes, it is like some kind of a transaction, but it is not structured as a business because money's coming out of our pockets. We're figuring it out as we go, and we wouldn't think, I don't know, man, it felt like an installment, like an art thing. It wasn't like a business, an installation. It felt like we setting up more like a moment, and then by the process and showing people our scars and what we're going through as we're doing it, gave people, inspired people to be like, yo, actually this thing is cool. Like, it's really cool. I like it. I like how they're moving, and how they do what they do. But for me, it was like more of an art installation than it was a business. It just so happens that the money funds back the space, the help, the product to make. But it's like, we did make money, but it's like it wasn't necessarily a business structure. It was more like an art structure. You came into the space as someone who was trying to learn shit. And I was like, dog, you're gonna learn what we do here. And it could go all over the place, but it's like you're gonna learn whatever's going on. So we are not like a business where we're gonna be like, this is da-da-da-da. We are a creative entity. How we used to sometimes knock off, if we feel inspired, we close shop, we go to the studio to go make things. Let's, whatever the case was. So for me, I'm not there yet when it comes to the business IQ and the business whatever. I'm more like serving people, because it's an extension of the art stuff that I do, and the art, and not unfortunately, but it's just in a weird place, and it's not in a place that I enjoy. It's like I would like to make art and literally keep making it and move, but the art that moves right now is in product, and it's the consumables, you know what I mean? And then I'm able to still give it the same integrity for like a small margin or whatever compared to like the art,
You take control of your ecosystem.
Yeah.
You're now printing yourself. The most you're doing is paying Courier Guy at this point. And then the blanks, etc., etc.
Yeah.
But most of it, you're in control of it. You're in control of the release date, you're in control of your pricing, your marketing. Does it ever feel like, yo, the commissions are enough? I can just do the Nestle thing, I can do the Unilever thing, can do the Kellogg's thing, and that's just enough for my art to be out there because it's still a consumable. Have you ever gotten to a point where it's like, you know what, this thing is stressing me out? Because sometimes the things we're good at sometimes start infringing on the other things that we love. Because now it's like your art is becoming a business, it's no longer a release.
Yeah, man, that's a good question. Because for me, it's actually the other way around, you know? And it was more,
The big checks are infringing on this one.
Not even the big checks themselves, but like the energy around them. It's like you're working with people that don't understand what you do. And there's work that I've done that people are proud of that I was like, I wasn't in control of that. If I was, this is what it would have come out, you know, because we are not at Futura level or Virgil level where you could just like put a blank or whatever, like a dash on things and it makes sense, you know. We are at a point where we have to prove ourselves, you know, and the only way I can prove myself and put all the tools in one thing is when I do these T-shirts and or product. Then I feel like nothing here is edited out. You know, there's no censorship, you know, we go when we go.
There's no marketing sign-off.
No, this is not, you know, because I've done things like proudly and I still do, you know, when I get an opportunity. And I'll do it, man. I was like, but if anything, if I had it my way, you know, it would be just be like focusing on making product and people have it. And because like it moves, man, you know what I mean? Like, and so in some ways it's like if I could make one thing that gives me a certain amount of money, I can make 10 of those things. Maybe they can, you know, sort of like accumulate to the same amount.
There's one interesting thing that I learned from you that I probably would have gone a lifetime without learning, right? And a lot of creatives need to learn that quick.
I wonder what that is.
It's your Lisfus Labs era, where everyone looks at you as the guy who designs, who does big stuff, but then you're still the same guy who will take the tender to go, let's go print 1,000 T-shirts for Shell, let's go print 1,000 bucket hats for Nike. How did you get to the point of understanding that you can be a service provider? You don't have to be cool every time. You don't have to show up when it's like big checks only. You can also show up in the background and just service.
You know, it's how that happened was conversations with people. Like when people see what you do, there's people that are not as clued as we are or clued up as we are in these things. And therefore they just need someone to just take it and run with it for them, you know. And those are those conversations where like you have someone who works for, you know, said brand and like, yo, we want to print 100 T. When they come to you, they don't even come to you to do it because they think it's an embarrassment. They think, nah, dog, I'm not trying to look down on you. I just want you to help me find someone who can do it. You're like, no, actually, I can do it. I'm the one that does it. But then you run it, you know, but you run it through, I don't know if, like, I've done a couple of those, like, end of last year, and I was just sitting, you know, like, literally, I was in the middle. But because the middle is important, and sometimes being the middle helps. And it's like holding the door, man. Sometimes it's like, I don't look at myself like I've arrived, you know. I like to hold the door for people when it's their time, you know. And I hope they do the same for me, you know. Hold an umbrella if it's raining and you're the Michael Jackson of the crew, you know. We do it, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, but you know, you need to understand what that is. Because at some point, things will shift and you have to allow for others to come in. So for me, when people look at me and say, yo, I saw you did this thing. You know, anyone who can help? I'm like, yeah, sure, I can help. You know, I'll make sure that you know, even people that look up to you and like, yo, I'm like, nah, dog, it's fine. Right now, I'm employed by you to do it, and I'll do it to the best of my ability without even disrespecting, you know, how things are set up, you know? So my thing is that it's like, I love sharing information. I love utilizing all the information that I have. Like if someone's like, yo, I'm here, you know, it's like there's a lot of things that are happening still in the background on that level, you know, whether it's like information or it's data or like experience, because people know that what we've done, and now they're coming back to say, yo, actually, man, you were right. Can you help me with 1, 2, 3? I need 1, 2, 3, you know? And I'm like, yeah, of course, you know? Mm-hmm. So I'm happy to do those things.
There's a thing you said, I don't know if you said it in passing or I overread into it. You said, always be in the top 3, never be number 1, because the only thing number 1 can do is fall off.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Because there's a lot of pressure. If you look at what's going on now with Ye, even when he's not number 1, he's trying to be number 1, and then he realizes that it's all fabricated. It's engineered. Like, number 1s are like engineered. Like, you know, because, you know, dog, when you're a real one, when you eat, man. At the back of the room, back of the bus, in the back of a van, in a trolley, whatever, in a bike, whatever. If you're you're it. And they can't take that away from you. Like, whether like, Njami, I don't know if you've seen a crazy person that was it or it. They still talk like that. They still write like that. They can't disconnect from their true selves. No matter what happens to you, dog, you're gonna always be what you are. Niggas engineer themselves to be like you. They literally fabricate themselves. They put themselves together to be like you. You are you. And I'm saying this because I've seen it happen so many times. It's like, ungena la ungamelanga ungene khona usitshela ukuthi uzohlala. Kanti no, Lazi is his shit. That's him. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And now ungangena entweni zomunye umuntu usitshela ukuthi no, like don't do that. And especially things that are like established, whether it's careers or spaces. We spoke about this the other day, you know, that just be you. Like, number 1 is like it's a temporary position. It's just your turn, like Skepta would say. Like, number 1 is a turn. Nigga, Fresh said this to me. Even when you win, they're gonna need a rematch. You feel me? Like, I won, I did it, but they still want a rematch.
It's never enough.
It's never enough, dog. Like, if it was enough, Pirates would have been Pirates. What, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, you win cup once and that's it, and it's done. But that's not how it works. So be where you are, and it'll be like it's a conveyor belt. You know, we're gonna rotate spaces.
Speaking of playing your role and understanding who you are, be a faithful competitor.
Yeah.
Page 375 from the Lazi Mathebula book.
Yeah.
Contextualize that. Be a faithful competitor.
It's like, you know, well, in context, you know, it's like if I'm competing with people, I need to understand that I'm competing with people. And therefore, there's a thin line, obviously, between being a faithful competitor to hate. You know what I mean? Or like thin line between jealousy and envy. But you gotta know what you're doing. You know, and it's like if I have a t-shirt brand and you have a t-shirt brand, I need to know how to move around you, and I need you to know how to move around me, because we can't be out here acting like we're cool, knowing that we're gunning for the same thing. We are gunning for people to have our shit in their closet, and maybe this one time, this one person only has space for one thing between me and you.
We both jumped on the 25th.
Yeah, and I have to be okay if I don't get it. I can't be like out here like after I don't, you know, I'm just saying, like, and I did mention that it's hate and faithful competition. It's like, just know that we are competing, dog. Like, when you're playing a match, in there, I'm trying to rip. After we can exchange t-shirts, but like in the 90 minutes, nigga, I'm trying to rip. I'm trying to come out with my win, you know? And it's like, if I feel like Lazi wants me to print for him, it's weird. No, man, like, I don't know if that's gonna make sense. Would it make sense? Designing for you, and I'm a designer myself?
I have a contextual reference, but it's okay. We'll
Negro
let it slide.
Terrell?
It's more local, so rather let it slide.
All right, cool. All right.
So you do what you do, you practice what you practice. There's this thing that happens in everyone's journey. You mentioned it before. You said, hey, they're going to mess with you, but then they're going to mess with the next guy, then the next guy, then they're going to want to make that guy you, right? How have you managed the interpersonal relationships when fuck shit happens? Because fuck shit will happen. But how do you manage the, yo, man, Lazi, I was trying to call you, but you know what? We ended up, it's like, you know they weren't trying to call.
I'm not too sentimental about these things. Because I've been in a thing. Like, my first commission came when it was 2012, like over like, well, 2012 is over
13.
Yeah, it's a long time ago. And, you know, I have to also like be cool with it. You know, it's like, yeah, it's cool, you know. It's cool because it's like, umuntu njalo, it's like you can't want people to like you. You can't be the only center of attention. You can't centralize yourself all the time. Doesn't work like that. It's like the world is so complex. Ne? Like, let's say you have a girl and she has a job. You the nigga, yeah, you are his nigga, you are her nigga, but just know that there's other niggas at work that have other charms that you don't have. Even though she loves you, that's how complex life can be. But if you don't accept that, you're gonna go to work with your girl. You're gonna go, Jimmy, or Jimmy, or Jimmy, there's like niggas that are like offer than you and skinnier than you. Bigger than you and smaller. What I'm saying is like you can be the best version of yourself at the gym because the spectrum says you're here to work on yourself. But if your girl goes to the gym and you're thinking to yourself that I'm the only nigga that she's looking at, like, come on, stop. Yeah, she loves you, but she is looking at another nigga, like, not to say I'm gonna let it go for you or whatever, but it's like there's another nigga that's buffer than you, or like much 8-pack, whatever the case may be. So work is like that. There's other talents, there's other charms or elements of creativity that I do not have, that other cats do have. So if they choose to go with someone else based on what I don't have, that is also okay. I might have the talent, they might have the charisma, you know, and that is also okay. Because sometimes the charisma works for that campaign more than the talent. Because usually talent gets overlooked, even though we think that it doesn't. But a lot of people that are talented don't really get through. You know, and that's the thing that made me stop self-promo, you know? Like, I kind of stopped showing myself too much to the world because I'm like, I don't like what I'm doing. It's like, I'm visible, I can also dress like this, I can, you know? And I was like, no, if you see me, you see me. And what I want to do is like, let the work speak for itself, like Lisfit says, you know? It's like, let it speak for itself. Yeah, I'm terrible, you know? And it's like, so you have to chill with that, you know?
Yeah, I think we did it.
Yeah.
Nah, we did it. Yeah. we did it. But how does Kwapegilanga, senior secondary, inform how you relay your work to the general public? Because a lot of creatives have this problem of like, we're creating for the other cool people, quote unquote. It's like, nah, they get it. Yeah. You don't get it. Because I think you get it if your brand can translate to layout the skinny jean version, and he's like, nah, I'm gonna rock that tee with it because it could have bought the G-Star as well, had the 2-piece.
Of course. I think what that did, that experience, actually, I would call it like the hood is global for me. You know, so east, near west, near south, near Alex, you know. And it's like everything is similar, you know? It's just like, obviously different jargons here and there, but I'm celebrated like in all of those places. Obviously not by masses, but like there's cats in those places that do celebrate me and they feel proud to know me and that other niggas don't know them because it's like, yo, you don't know Lazi? Come on, dog, you know? But they happy to know me and niggas don't know me in those spaces. But it's like coming from my hood and my school, obviously, it was very foggy because school for me was like, I don't know what needs to happen after this. And it was a great experience, but it wasn't a nice experience because I wasn't the smartest. I was good at maths, but I wasn't genius level good, you know? I was like good in art, but art is, you know, it wasn't. So I think it was like when I realized that I can tell stories that people in other places can relate to, and that was after high school, I was like, oh shit. It's done now. So it was like, oh, you get it. Oh, okay. Even now when we come back to it amongst friends, it's more like a social dialogue that I'm creating. And this dialogue is continuously building itself, and it's building itself to its own little community of people that are understanding what we're doing. It's like, and I'm happy to do, it's like I dropped the third brand, literally, without being aware of it, by saying that we really don't need another t-shirt. Honestly, we don't need another t-shirt, bro. It's like I'm saying we don't need another one, but I'm dropping another one.
Yes, another sneaker show.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's literally, you know. And the farm, you said something about the farm. What the farm did, it gave me so much security in myself to not care so much about a lot of things, that if it all goes to shit, namanzi, angapheli, ngetlakasi from the sun, I got a nice building, I can grow shit, I can be okay. You know, like when it all goes to shit. So before, I was worried about that. I used to chase a lot. I'm chasing so I can secure. Then I do secure. Then I realized that even when you do secure, you don't own it all the way. And then that is like, I've experienced life, man, like on another level that people have, you know. And that's the thing that now is like, if you don't have, you know, because we can create our own convenience now. Because here in the cities, convenience is created for us. That's what we pay for. And we're not in control of that convenience. Because like I said, you know, but now if you're in a space where the ecosystem allows you to create your own convenience, you had a better chance. And, you know, it's not going to look fancy. It's not going to feel like it's Hyde Park, you know?
So what's your word to the youth?
What would you say? Just so I can have
What would I say?
A structure.
Information is useless without execution. Like ingani gets you further. Like the more stubborn you are in your pursuit of greatness, not in pursuit of people, the more successful you are.
Have something.
Yeah.
My word, actually, this is not even words to the youth, but it's like, so I have these words to live by every year. And this year has been perspective over perception. So what I mean by that is, if you have to look at yourself and center yourself, perception has a lot to do with ego, and perspective has a lot to do with the bigger picture. So I'm at a point in my life where I have to look at the bigger picture than perception. That's perception. That's ego. But like people I care about, family, shit like that, that's perspective. It's the bigger picture, you know? Because perception is literally how I want people to see me and, you know, my pride, my ego, and all that stuff, you know? So I would like to say that whenever you get to a point in your life where you have to choose between perception and perspective, just know that there's one thing that has to do with the bigger picture, you know? And one has to do with yourself and how people look at yourself. And usually, when that has to do with that, it's actually you projecting. It has nothing to do with people either, because nobody thinks about you. Like nobody is right now thinking about you, except for your kids, you know, your partner or whatever, but like anyone else, they got their own shit to deal with. They're thinking about their own shit. That's perspective. But if you want them to think about you, if you think they're thinking about you, you're centering yourself and you're looking at it like, you know. So that's what I would say, man, you know.
Sidebar, I think every brand name you've come up with in my recent history is an epiphany that you have.
Yeah.
It's like the emotion of what you want to put into the work is what has led to the brand names.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Because yes, another sneaker
I'll take that, no Diddy, niggas.
Take that. Lazi Mathebula, CnrJuta&DeBeer. It's a wonderful day.